the spirit of covering police impersonators on this channel, I thought today we'd take a minute to talk about the YouTuber Patty Mayo. Now, before I even begin this rant, it would be awesome if I could just assume that everyone watching this was already completely aware of the fact that he's not a real police officer and that Southland Bounty Hunters was a scripted show involving actors. However, since only 3 days ago I was sent a link for the video, my safe word is pineapple juice.
My safe word is pineapple juice.
I guess I don't get that luxury. Now, despite two of my favorite YouTubers thoroughly debunking his legitimacy over 2 years ago, and this video existing in the ether,
you may have seen a group of people in Central Oregon representing the Dutchbury Sheriff's Office. It's not law enforcement. Max Goldwasser is here to explain what's going on there. Max?
Lee, the Dutchbury Sheriff's Office, or DBSO, is completely made up. It's all for a Central Oregon man's law enforcement show on YouTube.
Control 10X, send code 20.
The YouTube account is called Patty Mayo, and it has 4.7 million subscribers. The show follows around the DBSO as they catch criminals. The people you see are all paid actors, but it's meant to look like reality television. There's no disclaimer that says it's fictional, and there are no film credits. Under each video, the description does say it's not intended for training, education, or other purposes. But with the sheriff's vest and badge, won't people think they're real law enforcement?
Someone will say, oh, hey, thanks for your service. And we say, oh, no, we're here for production. We're not sheriff's officers. The intent is to create a production. It's not to commit a crime. And so that's why before we even purchased the cars for the show or any equipment, we sat down with the police department. We said, this is what we'd like to do. What do you think?
To try and avoid any confusion, people on the production team wear these bright yellow vests that say film crew. And if anyone happens to be walking by during a shoot, there is a dedicated member of the crew to go tell that person exactly what's going on. Sergeant Bailey said Mayo wants to have a good relationship with the Central Oregon law enforcement to avoid any problems.
He's been very good about calling in to dispatch and communicating with law enforcement on the date and time that he is going to be making a video and letting us know where and when he is doing these videos so that we don't have a situation where we have a real cop showing up at a fake law enforcement scenario, just so there's no misunderstandings, because we don't want anyone to get hurt.
The Deschutes County Sheriff's Office did say someone in Redmond expressed their concerns about Mayo's tapings, but Sergeant Bailey said Mayo has never represented himself as a real law enforcement officer and therefore is not breaking any laws.
it has recently occurred to me that, for some reason, the vast majority of Patty Mayo's audience seem to remain firmly under the impression that he's a real police officer. While my first instinct would be to place the responsibility solely on the audience for being that gullible and for not doing their own research, upon further investigation, I'm not exactly sure that would be a fair assessment. After watching a few of his videos and reading through some of the comments, it started to become abundantly clear to me that this wasn't just your typical case of the cognitive dissonance usually associated with reality TV. No, I'd almost go as far as to say that these people were the victims of a semi-elaborate scam. One where Patty Mayo has used the lack of transparency required by his show's format to deceive thousands of people into believing that by donating to his Patreon or purchasing his merch, you are in some way supporting real law enforcement.
One of the two. Thank you guys for supporting the show. We appreciate it. You put cartridges in the tasers, you put bullets in the mags, and you put gas in this. Man, this thing just sucks gas down.
To try and put this in perspective for you, imagine if back in the day, the producers of Jersey Shore wanted Snooki to fake a pregnancy in order to spike viewer interest for the week. This itself, while it is technically an act of deception on the audience, I don't find it immoral. The deception is purely for entertainment, the entertainment being the excitement from the fake pregnancy. But if Snooki were to go home and then start a GoFundMe for that fake baby's college fund, and then thousands of people started donating to this college fund under the impression that the money was going to help a child in need, that would be a little fucked up, no? This is my problem with Patty Mayo, because essentially this is exactly what he's doing. To put it bluntly, he's impersonating a police officer and collecting donations from unwitting fans while disguising his motives for not being honest with them as him not wanting to spoil the reality-style show. And before you say, like, whoa, those are some pretty serious accusations, don't you think you're reaching there a bit? Let me ask you something. Out of everyone who's ever supported Patty Mayo via donation, buying his merch, or any other avenue, how many do you think would have done so had they known that he wasn't a real police officer beforehand. He's fully aware of the fact that his revenue stream is heavily dependent on the majority of his fans being unaware that the show is fake. In fact, his entire business model revolves around deceiving and taking advantage of his supporters. And from what I can tell, his supporters actually seem to be fiercely loyal to him. For a while, saying something negative about Patty Mayo was YouTube suicide. Shouts out the boy who lived, love you Prim Daddy. And that's probably what bothers me the most about the entire situation. He has millions of subs, a lot of which are willing to go to war online just to defend his name. And yet he's perfectly okay with defrauding those same people out of their hard-earned money. In a way, he's a lot like Jeremy DeWitt. You see, I can't help but feel like he's also doing this out of some weird insecurity. He's completely fine with manipulating his fan base, and in fact, by doing so, it actually allows him to monetize his fantasy and simultaneously be perceived as someone of authority by millions of people. There's definitely something wrong with this guy. His behaviors seem to point to that of a narcissist, and at times teeter between highly immoral and literally criminal. So I'll stop ranting. I hope more than anything that this helps raise some awareness about the kind of person Patty Mayo is. I'm hoping that sooner rather than later, people start to recognize him for what he really is. A scummy, insecure, low-life con man who used to run a fake prank channel. A scam artist masquerading as your favorite YouTuber. Just seriously, fuck that dude. Anyway, I'm sorry you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, whichever, doesn't matter. I'll put links in the description for some videos related to the subject. But if you're down to talk some shit, let's get toxic in the comments.